Community Organization. With me here, as always, is Robert, one of ECO's board members. Hi, Robert.
Hi, Alexis. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. We're navigating tech again this week, and
Yep.
hopefully we are live on Facebook.
Yeah, hopefully. So if we are live on Facebook, as I have done every week so far, I'll first just provide a brief overview for anyone new to the show. So in mid-March, we launched this series in response to the COVID-19 stay-at-home and closure guidelines that took away our ability to gather and engage in person, which was a big part of what we do as an organization. At the same time, we were hearing a lot of stories of struggle from our community members and some local businesses. So we decided to be creative and take advantage of this digital interface that we all quickly figured out is one of the only ways that we can really maintain some type of connection in a physically isolating time. So we've been running this show now for, I think, 7 weeks, and we've heard so many amazing stories. We've been able to support different businesses and hear messages that have so much depth and meaning, just way beyond what we could ever put in a social media post. So This has been a really valuable experience for sure.
Certainly a learning one, and one where we've met new people. I think that has been one of the more surprising aspects of the stay-at-home, is that we've created new connections with people.
Yeah.
So
it's awesome. It really is.
Tonight we have on two new friends, or one new friend and an old friend. So we have Craig from Kobold's Keep, and you'll be speaking with him in a little bit, right?
Yep.
And after that, we'll be speaking with Tom Hill Jr. of the Etna Pedestrian Alliance and hearing more about the 2020 Etna Marathon, which completed over the weekend.
Yeah, that was exciting. And if all of our past episodes are on our Facebook page, they're also on our YouTube channel by searching Etna Community Organization. So please take some time to look through those if you would like. There's wonderful stories from a variety of different community members and business owners. And I think it would be just a valuable use of anyone's time to learn more about what we have going on here.
Yeah. And Alexis, do you have open the public comment section? I know you're using a new platform today.
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, I can let you know that Elizabeth says hello, and so does Rose Miller. So it's nice that we're having that interaction as well. So thank you, and leave us comments and I'll be able to see them.
Okay, cool. Hi, Elizabeth and Rose. Thanks for joining. So I think before we get to the interviews with Craig and Tom tonight, I want to just provide some updates on the different things going on. There's a great breadth of fundraising support that's been happening and to help, I guess, just continue with our COVID-19 relief efforts and help provide for those in need. So first of all, the Bread of Life Food Pantry has so far received over $10,000 in donations. And Alexis said that she still has a stack of envelopes. I think she said 7 inches thick. So it's just been an amazing outpour of support. And I know that she is just extremely appreciative. They are able to serve so many families. The pantry is open tonight for food box distributions. The Garden of Etna has transitioned, as we've said on past episodes, to growing produce to provide for the Bread of Life Food Pantry. That's almost ready for harvest, so that will be another great addition to those in need to receive a collection of fresh produce. And just as a general reminder, if you ever need help accessing food, please reach out to Bread of Life Food Pantry. They're always open to providing support. We also have a Tri-Borough buddy system with volunteers willing to go grocery shopping on another's behalf or provide other forms of support. So that form can be accessed on our Facebook page, or you can just reach out to me directly and we can coordinate that way. At Emmanuel Lutheran Church, the food drive is still going strong, as are the weekly student and adult lunch distributions. New Sun Rising's Crisis Mitigation Relief Fund, we receive support from that on behalf of all of the efforts going on in Etna, and Emmanuel Lutheran was able to use some of the funding that they received from that grant to pay a local restaurant, Shenanigans, to prepare 200 to-go lunches for their daily adult lunch distribution. So that has been an awesome addition to their efforts as well. And then, of course, we have our Dinners for Neighbors program that ran right before this episode. Last week, a really great article in the Shaler Trib Live Journal came out about the initiative, which was really nice to see. And we've gotten a lot of positive comments since then. So far, we have raised just over $8,900 for the program, which has been awesome. So thank you to the EEDC, to First Congregational Church, thank you to New Sun Rising, to the Triborough Eco District, and to all those who have made individual donations for the cause. Every amount counts and helps us run the program even longer. We're trying to get an online fundraiser up and running, and we're working on it. There's a few just technical roadblocks. If anyone would like to donate to any of the initiatives going on, just reach out, and we can help provide that information. Robert, do you have anything you'd like to add about Dinners for Neighbors since you were just there?
Sure. I'll just kind of add what we saw tonight. So we increased the amount each week, and this week we increased to 170 meals. 47 of those go to the Etna Commons, and the remainder are distributed at Fugue Hall. And in past weeks, they have allowed us to distribute until 6 p.m. We start at 5, and it goes until 6. And we do see a kind of it's sort of a slowdown, right? It's more at the beginning and it trails off towards the end. But we've still noticed an increasing demand. All the dinners were given out by 5:20. So we will increase the amount next week. And I think it speaks to the growing, acknowledgement that the program's happening. So more people are saying, I just heard about this from a neighbor. So thank you, thank you for doing this. So it's growing, and then the needs are also growing. So we know it's there, and we're going to do this as long as we can, so long as we have funding.
Yeah, absolutely. Because the need's not going to go away once people are able to go to restaurants again. It's going to continue after. So we'll try to be there to provide that support where it's needed.
That's right. Yeah. So other news, and hi Dan and hi Rose. There's several people here from ENA that are commenting. That's the Etna Neighborhood Association. Who does a ton of great programming for the community. Some of the other big news, I think maybe the biggest news, is that Mayor Tom Rangers has joined Facebook. He has finally succumbed to the pressure, and that's true for our council president Pete Ramage as well. Both of them are now making hundreds of new Facebook friends. If you hadn't seen it, did you see the mayor's proclamation, Alexis?
I think briefly, but can you provide some more insight on what that is?
Sure. Something called Bells Across Pennsylvania Day. And that was on Sunday. The churches all rang their bells, and they did it in a celebratory manner. I didn't know there was a difference in bell ringing, but there is. It's called bells pealing.
Okay.
Bells pealing is the celebratory type, and they rang them for 3 minutes. We were out there with our pots and pans trying to also contribute.
Peeling your pots and pans.
That's right. And then another thing, have you been through Etna and starting to see some of the road construction?
Yeah, actually, so I drove through today to drop off some checks at your place for the different things going on. And I did see some construction workers out on a corner. And I know that there's some just things happening with that. People are able to start working again in that way. And the new ramp initiative, is that correct?
That's right. So PennDOT and the Borough of Etna are installing 35 ADA ramps, meaning that they are accessible.
Mm-hmm.
And it is happening in the areas along Butler Street that will not be receiving the new streetscape. The new streetscape, of course, will include the ramps.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be a great improvement to our business district.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily tonight we have on Tom Hill Jr. to talk a little bit more about goals for you know, a mobility perspective. But these ramps are really needed, and grateful that the borough is always thoughtful in terms of mobility needs in the community.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, mobility is something we focus pretty heavily on in the eco district work. And if there's any way to combine mobility improvements with equity and those being able to more safely and easily access sidewalks, it's awesome. And definitely wonderful job from the borough. It's great to be a part of that community.
Yeah. And I think it comes at a time where people are explore. I'm seeing a lot more people walking.
Yeah.
You know, to be honest, people I've never seen before taking a walk in the neighborhood, which is, you know,
it's a good thing.
Explore your neighborhood, but the accessibility is needed. The other aspect that's a little harder news is it depends on how you take it.
Mm-hmm.
The Port Authority is doing less routes. They have about 25% down in terms of the routes, but that information was not previously posted. And this week, Mary Ellen Ramage, Judith Cook, and Megan Tugnon, my wife, had some signs posted about that and how to get access, which is if you need to understand the bus routes and you have access to a smartphone, that's one way to do it. And the other way is a phone number posted on the new signs.
Gotcha. Well, that's great that they're sharing that information. It's definitely, like you said, it depends on the way you take it. In one way, it's, you know, unfortunate that routes had to be limited. I guess I can understand why, given everything going on right now, but it's still, you know, mobility has always been an issue, and access to transportation within and connected to the region is certainly, I'm sure Tom can comment on that.
Yeah. We'll save some for Tom to talk about. So I do have a big announcement at the end of the show related to the Etna Poetry Contest. So if you're willing to stick around with us, we have a poetry contest with some gift cards. So I'll wait till later. But do you think we're ready to transition, Alexis?
Yeah, I'm ready. Sure.
Okay. So you want to start introducing our first guest?
Yeah, first we'll be bringing on Craig of Kobold's Keep. I've been in the shop once, and it's such an interesting, wonderful, it's a very niche place, and it's very fun, and it brings back a lot of memories. So hi, Craig, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
I'll stop introducing you, and can you start us off by providing just a quick introduction about yourself?
Sure. Hold on one second.
Yeah, no problem.
Low power.
Oh.
My name is Craig Petraglia, and I run and am the owner of Kobold's Keep. We've been here for at least a year, about a year and a half. We opened, I think, last year in October.
Cool. That's awesome. What's your personal background?
Like,
are you from Etna? Are you from the area? Sorry.
Yeah. Well, we actually live in Etna. We've been here for about 10 years.
Cool.
Hold on, I'm getting a cord here. Bad way to start.
The joys of tech. It's okay. We all deal with it.
But yeah, we've been Jamie and I have been here for living in Etna for 10 years. I used to work in Bloomfield with my dad. His store used to be called Atlas. I think it's changed name since I left, but it was like basically a thrift store, and he would collect all sorts of random oddities and antiques through estate sales and yard sales and all that. And over the years, I just collected a large number of things, and once this spot opened up, I decided to open up a gaming store.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you said you've been in the storefront for about a year. Is that correct?
Yeah, at least a year. I think a year and a half now.
Awesome.
I think October will be our second year.
What attracted you to Etna? Why did you? So you live in the community. Is that why you decided to open a storefront there?
Yeah, I mean, it is close by, but also being that we've been here for so long, it would be nice to have more stores that have more variety in here. I mean, we do have a number of stores that we go to stores here and there. I mean, I've been to a bunch of them, but gaming store is something I've always wanted to see around here. So here we are.
Yeah, it's definitely, like I said at the very beginning, it's a niche business, but it provides something that a lot of people love to do. There's so many variety in games, and there's not another gaming store in Etna that I know of. So it's awesome that you're able to provide that.
Yeah, and then gaming could be almost anything. I mean, we have card games like Magic the Gathering. We have video games, Nintendo, Sega's, Xboxes. We also do like Dungeons and Dragon books and miniatures. So gaming could be a number of things.
Awesome. So but before we move forward, tell us the story behind the name. Why Kobold's Keep? What does that mean?
So kobolds are little mischievous dragons that like to collect treasure. They can be found in Dungeons and Dragons. They could be found in Magic, video games, anime, all sorts of fantasy settings. And it kind of, if you know what a kobold is, then you could probably expect to find something related to gaming.
Okay, great.
So if you know the name,
so for those who know, they know, and they know what they can find when they see Kobold's Keep.
It's not my last name or my name. There's no kobold that works here.
Yeah,
I promise.
That's awesome. I grew up playing a lot of different video games. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that I am born in the same year that Pokemon was released in 1996. Is that correct? So
correct.
It's kind of like a personal, I just love the fact that I'm the same age as Pokemon, because I grew up playing pretty much every game with my sister, with my cousins, on like the Game Boy Color, the Game Boy SP, the DS, every game. So that was always a wonderful part of growing up for me. And I have a lot of just some of my favorite memories, especially with my dad growing up, are playing just random video games on our PlayStation 2. It was just so much fun. And I look back on those times and I miss them, and they bring such a sense of, I don't know, happy nostalgia. So gaming in some way for me has always been a way, to connect with other people. So, and make memories in that way. But everyone has their own things that they like about it.
Oh yeah, nostalgia is definitely part of it. A lot of people come in and they say, I hear it all the time. Oh, Nintendo 64. I remember when I had that.
Yeah.
And then of course they mention Mario, Pokemon, Zelda, all the big titles that everyone knows. But nostalgia definitely helps bring people in.
Yeah, for Christmas this past year, I've been working in Etna for about 1.5 years now. And I was new to it before I started, but new to Etna. So I've been trying to support the different local businesses, and I was really trying to figure out what I wanted to get my dad for Christmas, because I always have a hard time with him. And Bob Snyder and Mary Ellen Ramage at the borough office were talking about Kobold's Keep and like the different things Bob has found there that he's bought before. So I thought, maybe I'll give it a try, go look. And I saw an Atari. So that's what I got him for Christmas, because he grew up playing that. And when he opened it, he was so surprised. And then he got to share with me and my sister the games that he played growing up too. So by getting that Atari back, he was able to share those memories that he had growing up with us, it was really fun. It was pretty special.
That's good. I mean, people are surprised how many memories you can actually have with gaming, whether it's cards or game, on the TV or, in person.
Yeah. There's so much variety out there. And it's great too that you provide other means, I think, like through cards. So there's literally something for everybody there. You don't have to be into a certain type of game. You don't have to know what a kobold is to go to.
Yeah, you don't have to
even find something.
You don't have to know what a kobold is.
Yeah.
I mean, we do we do Magic the Gathering on Thursdays, so that's something people could do to make
definitely.
memories
Yeah.
playing the games.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't, not right now, of course. It's since
Right.
we're closed, but when we open back up,
Right.
every Thursdays.
Yeah. So you noted at the beginning that you started your business by, you had this collection of items, and then that was like, I guess, your first stock of inventory maybe. But how do you continue to find just different rare collectibles? Like, are there different platforms that you use? I'm just interested in learning more about, how does that work, since a lot of things that you sell are like rare or older editions or collectibles in that way.
So there's two ways that we get our product. The easy way to explain is through the front door. Sometimes we get people that come in, they contact us online. They come from all over the place to check us out and trade or sell us things. And then we also do a lot of searching, I guess. I mean, we've done estate sales, we've done yard sales. We used to do Goodwill, but everyone knows about Goodwill, so it's harder to find things there now. But
Yeah.
if you look hard enough, you could find good deals. And I've been doing this for a long time now, so and just from being a gamer, I know what to pick out if I see a rare system or a good game. But even the simple stuff, it could even be just sport games or Tony Hawk, and there's a butt for every seat, and you will find someone that wants that if you look hard enough.
Yeah. That's awesome. So it's good to know though that anyone can stop by, and if they have something, they can sell it or donate it. Yeah.
Yeah, we've had donations before, but usually people come to sell or trade, and wherever we can find it helps. But as long as they're either 18 or with a parent, because we get a lot of kids that want to sell us Pokemon cards, and I cannot take their cards.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So I know, with the different closures related to COVID-19, your business had to close, correct? The storefront
Yes,
had
we've
to close.
been closed since the 16th.
So I know that this has been hard for a lot of different businesses, and we've heard from a lot of different people. So, how specifically, has it impacted you, and how have you with how have you had to navigate this time? I know it's probably pretty difficult.
Yeah, it has its challenges. We have been putting our back stock on eBay, and just from doing estate sales, we've had a bunch of items that wouldn't put out front that don't really belong in a gaming store online. So there's at least that. But we have been doing through Facebook, and I guess you can contact us on Google, but through our store phone, you can find us. And if you want to ask if we have an item, like a console or a game, or if we were lucky enough a movie, because we have a lot of movies, you can contact us and we can put it aside. You can come do a curbside pickup. So a lot of people have been taking advantage of that. We've been giving people entertainment, because I'm sure a lot of people want to do something while they're sitting on the couch all day, and we're here. So give us a call.
I was going to say, this is like a prime time for watching movies and playing video games, being stuck at home. So that's great to know that you're able to do curbside pickup. But it's also good to know that people have been utilizing that and have been supporting you right now. Same with the eBay side too. Yeah,
it's been a help. We're hanging in there. No serious financial problems. Yeah, but I mean, every person that comes and swings by is a help, and
yeah. So you might not have an answer to this, because it seems like you're still able to have business right now through curbside pickup. But some other business owners that we've talked to who have been affected by the closures have said that to shine light maybe on a dark situation, this has actually been an opportunity to invest time in their business to like improve a website or other things that they haven't gotten to. Do you feel like you've experienced that as well? Or have you been pretty busy still with online orders?
We are planning on investing into the world of 3D printing,
Oh,
being that
cool.
we do Dungeons and Dragons and Pathfinder games. We're hoping to get into making miniatures, and hopefully, if we open back up, we'll have a large variety of miniatures to choose from. We also might be looking to making trays and bags for dice, and we might be able to start making our own dice as well.
Oh, that's so interesting. I never really even considered that. And I'll admit, when I was in high school, 3D printing wasn't really the biggest thing yet. But through my work with ECO, I've gone back to the high school, the Shaler High School, just a few times for student-related projects. And everyone's 3D printing everywhere. I'm just like, so much has happened in the past couple.
Yeah, I never knew it was going to get so big, but
Yeah.
you know, we've been looking into it, and hopefully we'll start working on it. You know, jump on the train if everyone's getting on and try it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, that's great to hear. That's definitely such an interesting way. Do you feel like other like gaming businesses or things, is it typical to create your own miniatures, like you said, for a certain game, or?
I would say probably not. There are a lot of miniatures you can buy. We were actually trying to get more miniatures in here. We used to have miniatures, but over the year they all sold out.
Mhm.
And finding cheap miniatures from other people's collections hard because they're usually attached to them and don't want to give them away for cheap.
Mhm.
But if we can make our own, and maybe even like, you know, people recommend what they're looking for. If they want, you know, an orc barbarian for their group and they want that, maybe we can invest into looking into making customs or something along the lines of that.
That's awesome. That's so exciting to hear. Good for you guys.
Thanks.
So, you know, as life returns to normal, or after life returns to normal, it won't be normal for a long time. Are there any ways, I guess, well, you might have just answered this with the 3D printing, but are there other things that you're looking forward to, you know, once business starts to reopen?
The first thing I'm going to do once the COVID's over and hopefully there's no second or third wave of COVID, I'm looking forward to a haircut.
Oh, yeah.
You can see it's getting a little unruly.
Yeah, I'm not trusting myself to cut my own hair, so I understand that too.
I was going to order a buzzer and just shave my head, but, you know, it'd probably be too cold.
Yeah. So maybe just to recap the different ways the Etna community can continue to support you right now. So you're still open for eBay online orders, and anyone can call your shop for curbside pickups, correct?
Yeah. And we also, both of those. And we also are offering gift cards. We could make gift cards that are hand drawn, and we can put any amount you want on there. So if you know someone that wants games or D&D books or anything in that realm, we could do gift cards also.
That's great. So I think before we close, I'll just note, you know, earlier in the show, I mentioned that we're able to support our businesses through this Etna Life Live series. You know, from a few different generous donations, we were able to make a donation to the businesses that appear on Etna Life Live. So that's from ECO, the Triborough Eco District, the Garden of Etna, and an anonymous donor. To make up a $250 donation that we will be able to give to you for your time. So thank you so much for coming on, and thank you to everyone I just listed for making that possible. So,
well, I mean, I appreciate you guys contacting us. I was happy to do the interview. And I'm looking forward to COVID being a thing of the past.
Yeah, no, it's great to hear your story and to understand what your business is going through right now and how to support you as well. And, you know, there's very exciting things that you're looking forward to. I think the 3D printing is awesome, and just in general, you know.
Looking forward to it.
There's just this theme that keeps recurring that, you know, through all of this, there are ways that we can come out of it different and in a stronger way, you know, taking this time to really now that everything's fallen apart, putting it back together in a different way. So, and I think that goes for the businesses as well. And I hope you and all the other businesses in Etna are able to continue to stay strong and come through all of this, more vibrant in the end.
Yeah.
So, before we transition, do you have any final message to the Etna community?
Stay strong, and thank you for all the support, community, and we'll be here when the virus is over.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us, Craig. Robert, you can come back on. Hi, how are you? Oh, I can't hear you. Oh, no.
That's me. That's me.
Okay.
Can you hear me now, Alexis?
Yes, I can.
I'm not been great at that, so.
No, it's okay.
So that was an excellent interview.
Yeah, that brought back, like I said, I grew up in the age of Pokemon, so that brought back a lot of nice memories for me. And going in that store, it's fun to see all of the old games in there.
Yeah, you have the kind of you have to, when you go in there, you have to practice some restraint. But
were you a gamer? Did you grow up playing any games?
I was more of a video game. And cars. So
okay.
We actually play more games now, but I think we play more cards than anything.
Yeah, fun.
Yeah. So next we have Tom Hill Jr. All right. So I will. First, Alexis, do you want to do a little introduction for Tom, and then I'll bring him on?
Yeah, Tom is an Etna resident. He's an awesome guy. I first met Tom through the Etna Eco District mobility work. I came in after the mobility education series, but as we, advanced through the different meetings and community meetings, Tom was always there. So I really got to know him through those different fun events and meetings. And he's so passionate about mobility. I've seen him on the bike trails before, passed him, I've waved. Yeah, he's such a, seeing too this stuff over the past few weeks that he's been a part of. He's a very, heart of gold, I would say.
That's right. All right. So I'll bring him on and see you later, Alexis. Okay. Here he is. Hi, Tom. How are you doing?
Hello. Hey, everyone.
So that was a great introduction, and I want to start it off here with just kind of you are an Etna resident. You are the leader of Etna Pedestrian Alliance, and active in all of the different COVID-19 related relief efforts. So really appreciative of that. And behind you is a particular shield that you ran with on over the weekend. Will you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure thing. My name's Tom. I grew up here in Etna. And in the most Pittsburgh story ever, I moved away, moved to New Mexico, where I taught for a number of years, and then moved back to Etna about a quarter-mile away from my childhood home. And I'm still in education. I work at the University of Pittsburgh right now in the School of Education, teacher training programs. Am one of the founders of the Etna Pedestrian Alliance that works towards listening to and advocating for the residents of Etna and their concerns about mobility and accessibility. And not only just the residents of Etna, but anyone who works in Etna, travels through, or comes to visit. And yeah, the shield on the wall is from the Halloween costume that I wore on Saturday when I ran the marathon throughout Etna. And behind me is a collection of Captain America paraphernalia and toys and stuff. A lot of it is gifts from former students and other things I've picked up along the way.
That's I got to see you this weekend running, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But take me back to when you were growing up. What was Etna like during your childhood?
Well, Etna back when I was growing up was just a open space for my friends and I. We were all over the place. We were riding our bikes down on the flats here, down the ball field. I played baseball for a number of years. I didn't play it well, but I played it for a number of seasons. And also on some of the mountain bike trails, which are on the ridge above the house here. We used to build jumps and ramps up there. And then also I was a member of the local Boy Scout troop here, 173, for a number of years, which also spent a lot of time working with the waterways, doing some cleanup and some other service projects. So my memories of Etna were just being this open space that we were always out in, and had to be home by the time the streetlights came on. So we timed it perfectly from when the old streetlights, they would first turn yellow before they turn white. And we knew we had about 30 to 45 seconds to get home once the yellow lights came on.
So I grew up in a town that didn't have sidewalks. I couldn't walk anywhere, and I did have some woods. We ran in the woods too, but definitely felt isolated, particularly kind of growing up. So that made me somebody who was drawn towards cities, and I've always called Etna kind of an urban village as a description, being that it's small enough, in a sense, dense enough that you can get everywhere that you need to go, but it's not quite a city. It's a village. You find that a fair description?
Right. Unfortunately, these days, we're not able to get everything we need here in Etna anymore. Mm-hmm. So that's where the accessibility comes into that. We'll talk a little bit later. But certainly it was years ago when we were able to access more things within the community.
Yeah, exactly. Being able to go down to Main Street, access to food, access to entertainment. So that's definitely a big part of it. Mm-hmm. One of the areas that we wanted to talk about here tonight is you've been active in a number of the different relief efforts that have been happening, and just, give us your perspective on like what's driving you to do that. What's the why for you?
Well, when all of this started happening, my household, my family, my wife and I, we weren't directly affected too severely. I was able to transition my course online and teach from there. My students were all in their homes and other places so that they were able to access the course. My wife's job was able to transition to online, so she moved into one of the rooms here in the house as well. And there was just this feeling of helplessness that I wasn't doing enough. I wasn't severely impacted, but I wasn't doing enough to help out. And then a community organization posted about the food drive that was going to be happening 3 times a week. And I had some extra time and just decided to sign up as a standing appointment to be able to go down to the activities building at All Saints and help unload the vehicles there. And just in a very small way, feel like I was able to help those who weren't as fortunate as Becca and I were, and were more severely impacted by the shutdown and everything that's been going on.
Yeah. There's a part where you want to find a way to give back, to be involved, and it is a difficult time. I think even today we got a message. There are people interested in volunteering for Dinners for Neighbors. One of the aspects of this virus is that you're trying to limit the number of people who are involved. So our traditional community where we're doers, it puts us in a position where we can't quite, just physically change things. But you had a really creative idea behind the marathon. Can you walk us through like idea born in your brain, in your mind, and then to how did this come to be?
So I had been signed up for the Pittsburgh Marathon since this past August. The first day that they opened it, I signed up again. I had been registered for a 50-mile trail race back in August, but had to drop out due to injury. And when registration opened for the marathon, I just decided to get in, work on rehabilitating the injury, and then just moving forward from there. And then on March 17th, P3R, the organization that puts on the marathon, decided to cancel it, and rightfully so. It's a huge event. There's just so many people out, and you can't social distance a marathon. And so they gave us the option to either run it virtually or receive a refund. So I decided to run it virtually, and I was going to do 2 laps. Just around, like heading into Sharpsburg across the Highland Park Bridge, running around. And I thought, well, you know what, why don't I just do this locally? Why don't I just do it within the borough of Etna? And then I had started volunteering with the Bread of Life, and in talking with people, come to find out that the need that is within our community, and how much help they could use. So I decided to do it as a fundraiser. And I've done charity runs and bike rides before for the Children's Cancer Institute and for Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh. And I just felt I didn't feel right asking people for money at this time when things are so uncertain. So Beck and I were discussing it, and I said, you know what, every time somebody responds interested into this, we'll give $1. And I created it on a Tuesday night. And by Wednesday morning, we had like 50 to 70 people already. And then it just started building from there. And then the community organization reached out and said, oh, we'll cover for 250 people, which was fantastic. And then a private donor reached out to me from one of the running clubs I'm involved with, and decided to cover some more. And then when we didn't reach the number, he just gave that money anyway. And then my parents donated some money, as well as my brother and sister-in-law. And between all of that, between the number of people that responded, we had over $1,000 to send into Bread of Life.
That's amazing, Tom, because you think about a giving. You probably would have given a gift to Bread of Life Food Pantry, but you found a way to have that go 5 times, 10 times what you would have originally given, and that's really powerful.
And just the reach that we had on this was incredible. We have family and friends in Texas that were responding, Southern California. A former coworker of ours who now lives in Alaska responded. So I think North Dakota was the only state we didn't get any reach into. But it was just incredible to get that many eyes on the Bread of Life. And then a number of people have reached out to me since then looking to do their own private donations. So sent that information along. So you never doubt the generosity of people and the willingness to help out, because if you just put the idea out there, folks will come through for you.
That's very true. I've been honestly astounded by people's giving during this time period. I know that even those that are affected are giving. They're finding ways to make things happen. There was one more aspect. So there was the fundraising, the attention that it brought to the issue, but finally there was a sort of hope in seeing you do the act. Can you talk a little bit about becoming Captain America for the 2020 Etna Marathon?
Sure. So in the early stages of the planning, I was speaking with Allison from Etna Print Circus, and they had given me the idea of like doing something crazy or ridiculous, just to try to get more people involved. And I said, well, if we get to a certain number, I was thinking about doing it as Captain America, but I really don't want to, I don't want to make this about me and draw the attention to it. And Allison pointed out that the more ridiculous you make it, the more eyes you'll get on it. So I put that out there when we were about 80 people away, and said, if we get to 400, I'll put on this old Halloween costume I have, and I'll run the entire marathon. And sure enough, that afternoon we had reached over 400. So committed to doing that. And so, I planned out an 8-mile loop that tried to come as close to the border as possible, staying on roads and sidewalks and the Doherty Trail behind the ball field, and did 3 of those laps. My brother, thankfully, came and joined me with about 6.5 miles to go, because it got really hot, and just the moral support of having him run with me. And we finished the last 6.5 miles together, and a lot of people out that day. So there was that aspect of, at times it was tough to get through because it was so warm, with about 10 pounds of fake cotton just stuffed in. But just seeing people smile and cheer and take pictures and stuff, it broke from the normal aspect of everyday life. So there was that joy in that for me too, that, okay, this was the right decision to do.
Yeah, I had to spend some time trying to explain to my 4-year-old why Captain America is running through the streets of Etna, and he was quite excited, both for the reason and then the actual the seeing you pass through by twice. So thanks for doing that. I mean, it was a joy for me as an adult and for the kids as well.
Well, and you know what? Honestly, it was funny because Ian and I were coming down Maplewood, and he says, "I think those people are there to see you." And I'm like, I can't see anybody that far away. Because again, they have shields out, and it was so cute to see the little ones out there with their shields and cheering and stuff, and that really helped get through. And folks, if you haven't seen it already, it's on the Etna Eco web page, Facebook page. There's a picture of them out there with their shields.
So Tom, we got a question in from Dan Duty. He wants to know just specifically, which is harder, the Pittsburgh Marathon or the Etna Marathon?
Shout out to Dan Duty, who was our realtor who helped us obtain this house. But it honestly, this was so much harder than the Pittsburgh Marathon. The Pittsburgh Marathon doesn't have as many uphills as I decided to do. And I actually ran into my elementary music teacher yesterday. And she had asked me, "Why did you do every hill in Etna?" And I said, "Oh, because they're there." Yeah. But yeah, this one was definitely a lot harder than the Pittsburgh Marathon, just because there was about 2,500 feet of elevation gain, just going up everything. And again, and the extra weight of the suit and the shield now. For about 17 years now, I've suffered through something called Tyrannosaurus Rex syndrome. I have these big, powerful legs that can carry me all over the place, but I have these tiny little arms that aren't good for anything. And you put all that extra weight of the costume and the shield on, and that really made it struggle. So,
one more question. What's your favorite street in Etna?
I gotta say, Mary Lou Drive. I grew up on that street, but we had the Little Pine Creek right in front of us. So I mean,
exactly. And now there's a man-made waterfall too. That's kind of.
Yeah, we would occasionally, when they would dredge the creek and it would freeze over, we'd go out there with our mother's old ice skates and skate on it.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. Yeah. All right, Tom, I definitely want to ask about the Etna Pedestrian Alliance. So I prefer the shorter name, ETPEDS. I always love that. So for ETPEDS, you've been involved in the community and that activity really since you moved back to Etna. Could you just talk about kind of the importance of why mobility matters, and then kind of follow that up with what your dream for Etna is, knowing that it might not be tomorrow, but what do you want it to be?
So Alexis made a good point in the beginning, talking about hoping to bring in more mobility and equity. And really, I believe mobility is equity. Not everyone has vehicles or has the ability to get from place to place easily. So the infrastructure of the community really needs to serve the community. We need to provide safe and adequate ways for folks to get from one place to another. We have some great things coming in, new businesses and restaurants. We have the Etna Riverfront Park, but it really doesn't matter if we all can't get there safely. So we're really working towards this idea that mobility is equity, and we really want to make sure everyone can get places safely and effectively. And honestly, my big overarching dream for Etna would be just the ability for folks to not have to worry how they're going to get to a doctor's appointment or how they're able to go to the grocery store. Taking that out of the equation so folks can focus on healthcare and food and just general everyday entertainment as well, with not having to worry about how am I going to get there? Is there a bus? Can I walk there? Do I have to go out Route 8 to get to the Shop and Save? Things like that. So just making sure that everyone is taken care of in their mobility needs and able to access all the resources that they need.
And if somebody's interested in participating and joining in the Etna Pedestrian Alliance, could you describe how to do that? And then on top of that, some of your next thing that you want to do with EtPeds.
So as of right now, we live primarily online. We have had one face-to-face meeting, but if you're interested, you can find us on Facebook at Etna Pedestrian Alliance. There's currently 2 pages for EtPeds. We're working to transitioning into the other one right now, but either way is fine. And then the next big thing, what I would like to do is I'd like to hold a distance meeting coming up soon and talk about some ideas we have, such as, crosswalk audits and visiting crosswalks in the community, looking at them, is determining how accessible they are to everybody, what improvements might be able to be done, as well as doing a type of survey so that after the restrictions are lifted and life returns to whatever our new normal may be, we have a better understanding of how people got around Etna. So that would be just in your own home for a period of time, indicating how many bikers you saw, how many walkers, how many families, and just having that data available so that we can go to different entities and say, this is how many people were out. These are the things we could really do to help make sure that they can do these things again safely.
Right. Well, Tom, I really appreciate everything that you're doing right now, that you were doing before and that you're going to do in the future. So thank you for your commitment and your dedication. We really cannot, greatly appreciate you as a neighbor. So thank you for all that. Do you have any, you have a final message for this show?
So once again, thank you for the support from the Etna Community Organization, from everyone who liked and shared and responded interest to the event. And I think it's just important to realize that while we're all in the same storm together, we're not all in the same boat. All of us have different resources that we can rely on, and some of us are better prepared than others. So really look to your neighbors and really make sure that we're taking care of one another during this time.
Thank you so much, Tom. We'll talk to you soon.
All righty. Take care, everyone.
Okay. All right. I'm going to bring back Alexis. Okay. Hi, Alexis.
Hello.
How are you doing? Elizabeth just asked, what is EtPeds? And just to clarify, that is the short version of the Etna Pedestrian Alliance, EtPeds. It is a great shortening. It's very fun.
Yeah, it is.
And what did you think of what Tom shared?
Oh, very striking. And especially, I think the last sentiment of we're all in the same storm, but not all in the same boat. That's the first time I have heard somebody put it in that way, but it's so true. I think in some way it also speaks to what Carl shared last week about we all have a skill or a gift that we can share right now to help others in our own way, however that is. So. And with regards to the Etna mobility work, just so exciting to hear what ideas Tom has, and that EtPeds is planning a distance meeting. That's very exciting to hear.
Yeah, I think that'll be great to kind of get that tested out. I think this has been a nice platform. This Facebook Live, but it's certainly not the same as a meeting. Yeah. And trying that out here. Seeing how it works for our community is worth it, and so I'm excited for him to do that.
Yeah.
So, hey, just seeing Elizabeth's note, it reminded me of something that I was intending to share actually more than a week ago. So, if you don't mind, I'd like to just share something that our partner Fred sent me. And this would have been more appropriate in the food section, so forgive me. But the message from Fred is that he lives here in Etna, and if you call the senior line, and that senior line is 412-350-5460, it will actually ring to him. You'll be speaking to him, and he'll be able to help you with food or other needs. So please consider reaching out to our neighbor, Fred, who's doing that important work. So I just wanted to make sure I had that before we closed out here, Alexis.
That's awesome. No, thanks for sharing that.
So the other announcement, should I go right into it?
Yes. So you mentioned a poetry contest at the very beginning.
Yes.
You may or may not have written a poem.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So first of all, let me pull up our exciting announcement. So for a couple years now, we've been building something called the Bicycle Garden out by the little library, and this past weekend, continuing to work on it now that kind of spring's happening, we wanted to do something fun for the kids. And this is really something, the Bicycle Poetry Contest is meant for people that are under the age of 18 that live in the borough of Etna, and how to participate. So just kind of walking through it. This will be going up tomorrow, and it'll be run through about 8 p.m. on Sunday. All the details will be in the post. And what we're trying to do is have somebody write something very short, maybe 40 words or less, and it can be a rhyme, it can be a limerick, it can be a haiku. Those are the only ones I know, so I'm not a poetry expert. A poem, yeah. One of those. And the only, those are the criteria: live in Etna, under 18, 40 words or less, and about your bicycle. I know a lot. Don't you think that's an appropriate theme for the spring?
It is. And riding your bike too, or if you don't have a bike, what it means to you to ride a bike or to cycle, or about your own bicycle.
That's right. And so if you, we have six prizes. Okay. So the 6 prizes are: the first place, it'll be online after they're submitted by Sunday. There'll be a voting from Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday up to next week's show. And the first place one will receive a $50 gift card to Pollock's Candies. Ooh. What do you think, Alexis?
That sounds delicious. Lots of stuff that you can buy with that.
We'll have 5 runner-ups, and that'll be 5 $10 gift cards to Pollock's Candies. So 6 prizes total. We'll mail those out based on the online voting, and I really hope we get some good ones.
Yeah, me too.
So, just to even prep it, Megan and I, over the weekend, worked on our own poem.
Wow.
Are you ready for that?
I am ready. I hope everyone else is.
Okay. All right. This is my first poetry reading. I don't have a good poetry reading background, but here's our sample poem. This bicycle for 2, a gift from me to you. You took one look and your head shook. You said I want to choose.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a rhyme to it.
Well, the if that poem wasn't any good, the gift cards will be. All right, so it'll go up tomorrow, and we'll start accepting to etnaeco@gmail.com, accepting poems. Mm-hmm. All right. Anything else, Alexis?
I don't think so. Direct message us on Facebook if you missed the email address for the poem, for anything, just anybody. If you want more information about the different initiatives going on, if you want a poster that Joyce and Allison of Etna Print Circus created that we shared last week, let us know or let them know, and they'll deliver one to your porch. They're awesome, beautiful posters. They make me think of all the birds coming out right now. Just don't ever hesitate to reach out to us if you need help or resources. Don't hesitate to reach out to your neighbor to see how they're doing, or just to talk to somebody. So,
and next week, who do we have on, Alexis?
Next week, we'll be hearing from Kia Tomlin. I'm really excited to interview her, especially with the mask making initiative that she started with her business. So that will be awesome.
That is awesome. Kia is for at least for me, a celebrity. So I'm very excited to hear from her, and especially with the initiative that she has going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, excellent. So shall we close it out here and bring back Tom?
Yes.
Okay. All right, here we go. Here's Tom. Thank you so much for putting this together, Alexis. Thank you, Tom, for joining us and everything that you're doing. You're a little off to the side, Tom. Yep, perfect. Should we?
I wasn't expecting to come back on. So.
All right. So should we do our wave out? Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
See you next
Thanks,
week.
everyone. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a good night. Stay safe.
You too.